Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Best of Sports Bash from the Super Bowl, presented by TicketBash.com on Radio Row here in Las Vegas. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. We had a great week here in Las Vegas, talked to so many great guests, and even those who didn't come on the show. We met so many people here from the NFL and football world circles. How much fun did you have?
Oh, it was a great week, and I must say that, you know, when you get down here, you never know who you're going to meet. I mean, some of the people like A-list celebrities we're doing interviews for, and you don't know what their objective to come on our show is. But at the end of the day, after we sit down and we speak to these people, everyone has a purpose and everyone has a reason that they're here. And one of the reasons we're here is to expand our reach of our show, get some different guests on the show, and provide a pulse of what's going on here at Super Bowl.
Absolutely, and we spoke to so many great people. Can't put it all into one half-an-hour show, so we'll try and break it down as best we can. We picked out some of the best interviews that we did during the course of the week, and we're going to start with a guy, listen, he never played on my team, but Shawne Merriman was one of the best linebackers that I've ever seen play, and I've watched football for a long time, and he was one of the first guests that stopped by here and joined our set here at Radio Row, so let's listen to former NFL linebacker Shawne Merriman. Shawne, thanks for spending a few minutes for us here on Radio Row.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
You played a long time in the NFL. Could you ever have imagined there would be a Super Bowl in Las Vegas?
No, not at all, man. But, you know, it's kind of getting everything warmed up. I'm a resident here, you know, so just seeing F1 and all the bigger events come here now, it's now suitable, right, to have a Super Bowl here. A lot of sports, a lot of melting pot from people everywhere over the world. And it's become more of a entertainment capital, right?
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see all this happening here in one place.
I mean, there was a time where Las Vegas, sports-wise, was UNLV. It was arena football. There was minor league hockey. The Lakers would play an exhibition game or two in Las Vegas, have their training camp. And now you've got the NFL is here. The NHL is here. Baseball is coming, and I think we're going to have an NBA team here at some point.
Oh, yeah, for sure, in the next couple of years. And it only makes sense, right? I mean, you got I think everyone's seen the Raiders coming here doing well, and now the expansion is going to happen, you know. So, who knows where this place is going to be in the next 5 years. I mean, so many people are migrating here from all over the country, and it's just only going to grow.
Radio Row, I'm sure you've been here a bunch of times before at previous Super Bowls. Isn't it amazing how this has grown into just a convention for the NFL?
Yeah, I think the best part for me personally is that, you know, I do a lot of media and stuff like that during the season, and so it's a lot of radio calls, so you don't see everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you see people in person, it's almost you're putting a face and a name, right, to or voice together. And so it's like, oh, yeah, you came on our show in Kansas City, you know, during the season, so I get a chance to meet those guys in person.
How about your career? How happy were you with the way you played in the NFL for a long time and had a lot of success? How proud of you of your career in the NFL?
Extremely, man. You know, to play on that level is hard, right? I mean, we all talk about how quick and short the career is of an NFL player, but, you know, to have the career that I had and the impact that I had, extremely grateful. And I think that the further you get away from the game, you start to appreciate it a little bit more, right? Because when you're younger, you're going through the fire, things are coming at you so fast, you're like, man, I want to slow down. Now you can look back and like, man, I played with that guy, that Hall of Famer. I played against that guy. And so you really appreciate it the further away you get from the game.
You know, I'm from New York, so I don't have an emotional attachment to it, but I was hurt as a football fan when the Chargers left San Diego to go to L.A. As someone like yourself who made your mark in San Diego, how badly did you feel for the fans when the Chargers left?
Yeah, I mean, look, I always feel for the fans, right? Because, you know, that was their team. And, you know, mind you, I got drafted at 20 years old. I was playing my rookie year at 21. So, you know, I kind of, in a sense, became a young adult in San Diego. So, you know, having those ties with the community, being close to everybody down there, and then moving. But the truth of the matter is, man, I play for the Chargers, right? No matter if they're in L.A., no matter they could have been the Vegas Chargers, they could have been, you know, the UK Chargers. Didn't matter. I was always going to support the team. So, but my heart will always be in San Diego, man. That's always going to be important to me.
Okay, so we have this game on Sunday at Super Bowl 58. We've got the 49ers, and we've got the Chiefs, a rematch from the game from a few years ago. How does Shawne Merriman size up this matchup, and who do you like to win?
It's so hard to go against the Chiefs, man. It just is. And last year, was a big telling for me. And I know Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, but what he did last year on that bum foot, right, and icing the game with his legs on that hurt foot, with no number one wide receivers, no number one guys, and went out there and found a way to get it done. I mean, you can't go against teams and guys like that. So until someone knocked them off, you got to go with the defending champs.
How would you have tried to sack Patrick Mahomes if you were playing today?
You know, you can get to him, man. But the thing is, he has this forgetful memory, right? So even if you got a sack on him, you hit him, he can load it up the next play and dial it deep or punch it in. So you're not going to stop him, right? You're not going to stop him. He's going to get his strolls. He's going to make his plays. He's the greatest, one of the greatest quarterbacks, in my opinion, that's approaching that GOAT level, especially if he goes out and wins this game. So you're not going to stop him, but you can do some things to contain him.
And I ask about Mahomes, I got to ask you about Brock Purdy, too, because here's a guy that was the last pick in the draft, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl. How impressed are you with him?
Very, man. And I know he gets a lot of slack, and people come down on him, but the truth of the matter is he's in the Super Bowl. He's playing Sunday. And I've never seen a quarterback that gets so much scrutiny that's playing in the biggest game on the biggest stage. So, he's doing exactly what he needed to do to get him here. So, regardless of game manager or elite, the guy is playing in the Super Bowl, and he should be respected as such.
Hey, Shawne, thank you so much for joining me on the program. Shawne Merriman made the rounds here on the first day we were here on Wednesday. So nice, went around to everybody. I don't think he turned down any interview.
I saw him going from station to station. And I will say, what a nice guy, great interview he gave, and he was a gentleman.
So many personalities, not just athletes, but media personalities that were here on Radio Row. And this is a guy, listen, he's not really on television anymore, but he made such an impact as an ESPN SportsCenter anchor with his comedy, and he became really a star. Even though he was a terrible dancer, he was a star on Dancing with the Stars, to the point where they would bring him back to do these little bit pieces with Jerry Rice on ensuing episodes, and it was great to catch up with the great Kenny Mayne. How exciting is this for you? I know you've been to a bunch of Super Bowls before, but to be here in Las Vegas, first time ever, what's the atmosphere been like for you?
Oh, it's great. And I think it's cool how proud the town is. You know what I mean? Like, so many people I've run into, from the bellman to the hotel folks, are like, this is so cool. Like, they thought we'd never even get all the sports. Now there isn't a sport Vegas doesn't have, and now they have the Super Bowl. And I have a connection because I went to college here. I played at UNLV a long time ago.
Okay.
So that's why when you saw the brace I was wearing, I
was going to ask you if that was an athletic injury.
I wrecked my ankle playing football my junior year, and then a bunch of time went by and it got worse and worse. And I got this device up in Gig Harbor, Washington, and my wife and I started a foundation for veterans. So that's really the biggest reason I'm in town, is to hype my foundation. Joe Montana's helping us tomorrow. I don't know when this is airing. Is this airing today? Today's Wednesday.
It'll be uploaded today, but it'll be forever.
Yeah, the key is letting people know about our event. So
absolutely,
if they go to Run Freely, RUNFREELY, runfreely.org, there's a little sign up if you think you want to catch a pass from Joe Montana. So I've been trying.
I would drop it. No question, I would drop it.
Even if you drop it, you get to pick it up and leave with it. And in doing so, all we need is 5 or 6 people. I'm doing 7 total. I told them I'd make it really small. We're going to make enough to get a veteran walking pain-free. We're going to do 1 veteran. In 10 minutes, Joe Montana's going to go like this, get a picture, shake his hand, and 1 veteran is going to get a phone call on Friday, hey, you're next.
That's an awesome thing, and it's so important that we honor our veterans, because I think sometimes they go very much overlooked by certain people, and I think when there's sports personalities that, like yourself, that step up and do something for them, I think that's very important.
Well, and the other thing is, this is sort of a new product, so the VA hasn't approved it, and they're not paying for it, and without it, these guys are limping around or not walking at all. We had one veteran, this woman from New Mexico, and she was in a wheelchair coming up to Seattle. She left walking onto the plane and gave away her wheelchair. Like, we have these amazing stories. Every one of them's unique. They're also humble and thankful. And I always say it wrong. Like, when I say we give them to, that's the wrong way. Like, they've earned it, right? Like, they're our next recipient is a better way to say it.
Kenny Mayne, a legendary SportsCenter anchor and star of Dancing with the Stars. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Kenny Mayne was so awesome, and talking about his charity that he's involved in, and there's so many people here to give back to the football world, to give back to people who are less fortunate. It's not just about the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the 49ers on Sunday. It's about charitable aspects of what's going on here at Radio Row.
Absolutely, and it seems everyone has their cause. They're here for a reason, and we all have to remember that these are blessed, talented people. And when you're that blessed and that fortunate to be blessed with that talent, to take that and use that platform to do something really good, it really, you leave here at the end of the day with saying, wow, that's a lucky guy, but you know what? He's taken his good fortune and he's turned it for the benefit of others, which really just makes these interviews and meeting these people so much more special and such a great interview to have.
Shawne Merriman, Kenny Mayne, just a few of the many people we spoke to here on Radio Row in Las Vegas this week. When we come back, we're going to have more. We're going to hear from former NFL quarterback Erik Kramer. We're going to hear from CBS Sports Network's Brian Jones. We're going to talk more about the atmosphere here in Las Vegas when Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com, rolls on right after this. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com here on Radio Row in Las Vegas. It's our best of show. We spoke to so many people here on Radio Row during the course of the week that we can't play everybody. We picked out a few. You can watch all of the interviews that we did on our YouTube channel, Sports Bash Media, and also on our website, sportsbashmedia.com. And I want to stop for a moment to thank Chris Gannum, our videographer, our video coordinator, our marketing guy, whatever you want to call him. He did a bang-up job this week, taking all of the videos that we sent him, and there were a lot of them, and he was on top of everything, and we couldn't thank him enough.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris.
Let's get back to the interviews, and this was a great interview. He has a brand new book out, very courageous story. Former NFL quarterback Erik Kramer stopped by our set. Erik, thanks a lot for joining us here on the show.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Before we get to the book, what are your thoughts on the atmosphere around a Super Bowl in Las Vegas? I don't think any of us that have been watching, following, playing football for all these years could ever have imagined that there would be a team in Las Vegas, now a Super Bowl.
Multiple teams, obviously a football team included, but if you could pick a spot to have a Super Bowl, wouldn't this be it?
Absolutely, and we'll get your prediction on the game near the end of the interview, but you're on a tour now with your brand new book, The Ultimate Comeback, and listen, everybody knows now it's a huge issue, not just in sports, but in all of life, mental health and dealing with things as they come around. I know it's something that you battled during and after your playing career. Tell us about the book and how you came to write it.
Yeah, well, I think it was, again, you mentioned the mental health aspect and depression, the anxiety that accompanies it. And so I thought it was a good subject to write on, certainly from my experience. But then it also led to, down the road, some tragic events in my life that ultimately all family related, and me taking my own life or attempting to. And so this book obviously tackles a lot of other issues too. So I had a couple of imperfect parents, as I am, and everybody else grows up in that sort of environment. And over time, how that evens itself out with both of my sons as well. And then, just the story of overcoming, whether it be in sports or in life in general. And so that's pretty much, I think it speaks to a lot of folks.
I think with any issue someone has, whether it's depression or an addiction or anything like that, I think the first issue is always admitting that there's a problem, that you need to go talk to somebody and get some help. Where was that point for you that you realized? Was it the suicide attempt? Was it something that took place after that? When did you realize that you needed to speak to somebody about this?
Well, I think in general, it was around 1990 or so when I was with the Lions, my first year. And I started working with a guy named Kevin Wildenhouse, just in terms of how to quiet my own mind to get through practice. And that led to working together when I was with the Lions, the Bears eventually, and then just in life in general. And so that started all the way back then. And I think that there's never a point that's too soon. So today, for instance, so I don't battle depression today, but with all the head trauma that goes on with playing this game, and other things that have happened along with my suicide attempt, that there's something called where I basically overreact to a situation that might not even be there. And so I've gone back to what I did when I was playing, and sort of like anticipating what's going to happen, kind of painting
Like an anxiety almost.
Painting a picture, a word picture of, in order to calm myself down and live that way, you know, and then anticipate what could happen in order for me to, again, take a deep breath and get past that as well.
Not that this is, you know, the gold standard or the general rule of thumb for every single athlete, but you know, with playing professional sports comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure. Yep. You're drafted, you sign a big contract, you go to a big market team or whatever the team it might be. How much did the pressure get to you? Were you realizing, oh, wow, I'm in the NFL now, and now I've got not only the 45 or 50 guys on the team, but I got a whole city that's depending on me to do my job correctly.
Well, the picture you just painted, being drafted, signing out that was not me. I was an undrafted free agent, and by the time I got to Detroit, I had to call my way on that team. But then you go from down at the bottom to then, as you said, leading a team, and that is exactly why that works. That process of guided imagery and breathing and sort of a mindfulness is a great way to go through life, not just whatever sport you're playing.
Right. Thanks to Erik Kramer. He was wearing his Detroit Lions jersey. The Lions unfortunately didn't make it, but they're going to be a team that we're going to see that Lions team, I think, in a Super Bowl in the years to come.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him here next year.
Now, for me, a lot about Radio Row is getting to catch up with people that I've encountered in my 3 decades working in sports media. And one of the guys who was so funny to work with when he was with CBS Sports Radio was Brian Jones. Great Texas college football player, had some time in the NFL, and he saw me walking around Radio Row. He goes, I got to come on your show. So he did. Here's Brian Jones from CBS Sports Network. Good to see you, my friend.
Big Pete, it is great to see you, man. We had so much fun during those CBS Sports Radio days. I loved my 5 years there, and you were great to be around and pick on.
Yes, especially the one time you screamed at me because I fell asleep in the newsroom, right? Hey, Peter, wake up, you got an update.
I was screaming at everybody, and I'm still screaming at everybody, man. But it was a fun time, and congrats, dude, on the new gig.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We got this launched in August, and some big things, and thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by. Tell us what you're up to these days. Obviously, you're all over the place with CBS and other things you're doing.
Yeah, college football is over, of course, so I've got a nice little off season ahead of me. Not back in the studios until August. But I'm here, and my business partner, Kenyon Rashid, who's a former NFL player as well, Jets and the Giants, and unfortunately he played at my Longhorns' hated rival, OU, and somehow we became business partners. But we're here to discuss our partnership. Our company, Edge3.ai, has partnered with IBM Watson X Technology. They're going to power our platform's engine. We're developing a recruiting platform to help athletes make better informed decisions, as well as coaches make better decisions in targeting recruits. And so there's a vast amount of information, data that's out there, Peter, and we're aggregating all that information, and we'll house it on our platform and just allow athletes, their parents, and the coaches to go there and sift through as much data as they need to make better decisions. And we're hoping if you can make a better decision at the outset of this process, it'll mitigate some of the risks down the road. It will also lessen some of the turmoil and turnover you have with this transfer portal.
Brian Jones, CBS Sports Network. It's Peter Schwartz, Sports Bash, here at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, presented by Ticketbash.com. Stay with us all week for more. Brian Jones, one of many great guests we had, and Just to kind of sum up the atmosphere here in Las Vegas, it's the first time Las Vegas has ever hosted a Super Bowl. Let's be honest, Vinny, there was probably a time where you and me, we watched football all our lives. We never thought there would be an NFL team in Las Vegas, and we never thought there'd be a Super Bowl here. And now there's both of them. There's hockey here, baseball is coming, and I think they're going to get an NBA team here too.
I agree. And you know what? It was great. We went to the hockey game the other night, and there was no getting in a car, no cab. Literally, we're at the hotel. We walked across the street. We were in the stadium. The baseball stadium is going to be right in downtown Vegas as well. I think where
they're going to knock down the Tropicana.
Knocking down the Tropicana, which is right in the center of town. So there's something to be said about the convenience. When you have a stadium in a city and you could walk to that stadium, it's just something special about it.
There was so much good about the weekend. I know you like to bust my chops about how happy I am all the time, about how I love this and I love that. There is one little negative about this week. I was searching high and dry. I walked up and down the Las Vegas Strip. I could not find the Montecito Hotel.
I don't know why.
Do you know why? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's a TV show, Las Vegas, that was on NBC, one of my favorite TV shows, and it was a fictional hotel, the Montecito. So I joke with everybody that I was going to go stay at the Montecito. So, hey, this was a great week here. I think we did a great job bringing Sports Bash to a lot of people that have not heard about it before. It was great meeting so many people, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for what we're doing here with Sports Bash Media.
Absolutely. I know both of us were very excited. The trajectory that we have right now with the show is amazing. This is going to catapult us into a new stratosphere where our guests and the talent that we're bringing on to the show and what we have planned for the future, there's a lot going on, and I'm very excited to be here next year.
Great. We had next year in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And we saw their booth there. They got some big things planned for New Orleans next year. He's Vinny Tickets. I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for following our coverage here from Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. The Chiefs and the 49ers on Sunday. We'll be back in our Long Island studios this coming week for another great edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. For Vinny Tickets, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for following all week. We'll catch you again next time.